Fabulous Sewn. I'm back after a bit of a break, and this is Handmade Originals. Actually, until about an hour ago it was Handmade Originals because the H dropped off, but anyway, now repaired. This is a continuation of the last video about what to do with your old school shirts, and this one is about to undergo a transformation. Now, my daughter, like many students, is coming up to the end of the university year when they have these lovely balls. And she is going to attend one, but she doesn't want to have the traditional long frilly dress. She wants to have something which is a bit more trendy, a bit more androgynous. So I'm taking one of her brother's old school shirts and transforming it, hopefully, into something resembling a different sort of black tie. So starting from the beginning, I have again removed the collar just by unpicking this seam all the way around here. I have removed the pocket, again by unpicking, and the next thing I'm going to do is to transform the collar into the winged collars that you get on black tie shirts. So I'm going to replace this collar here like that. Now, I've folded this to where I want it to be, and inside this collar, if I can just show you, all of these collars have something like this, but this one has a transparent one, which is not quite so easy to see. But it's called a bone in the collar. This one's actually sewn in, and all you have to do is bend it to where you want the new edge of the collar to be, where it attaches onto the shirt, and then just cut that bit off. So I've bent it on this side, so instead of being like that, it's going to be just like that. So I'm going to cut off the surplus bit of plastic on the inside, making sure that I don't cut the fabric. And all that plastic is in there for is to stop this bit curling up or down. I tuck that inside what was the old positioning of the collar. I'm sure there's a word for this bit, but I don't know what it is. I'll look it up and tell you. So that will go like that. And then the other one, come in here. That will go like that. So I'm going to just shuffle that along a little bit so that when the collars are both pressed down, they meet nicely in the middle. It doesn't matter if they're not exactly together so long as the gap between them is equidistant. Then, when you have your bow tie, that will go there like that. So already you can see it's being transformed, but that's not all I'm going to do. The problem with when girls or women wear black tie like this is because you just have something at the top like that, you then have, just pin this here, a vast expanse here, and it can very often make you look wide, which is not a good look. So the thing to do is to split all of this big white area with something going down the middle. So what you can do is you can put little black buttons here, or little sparkly buttons, or what I'm thinking of doing is possibly putting a line of ribbon down like that. I think the black is too strong. Could do a colour, but then you restrict what you can wear it with. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is use some white, this is called grosgrain ribbon. And it's grosgrain, if you can see, it's got that texture going across. So that's just matte grosgrain ribbon. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sew it down this one edge, which is the edge away from the open edge, and then I'm just going to put a line across here in between the buttons so that you can still access the buttons like this, pumping your fingers underneath, but they're hidden. And in fact, I'm not going to use that matte ribbon, I'm going to use something, I'm going to use this, which is shiny. So I'm going to sew that on. I'm going to sew the collar, and then I'm going to come back and show you how I'm going to change the rest of it. What I've done here, if I can just show you, I have now sewn around here, including the new winged collar. I've sewn all the way around the back, the top here, so this is now secure. Oh, and by the way, this is called a collar band, apparently. So there we are, we've all learnt something today. And I'm just pinning these down to train them to go in that direction. What I've always also done is I've unpicked here and I've just caught this piece of grosgrain ribbon in here, and I've sewn down this one side only down here, so that I can access the buttons by lifting it that side and then open and close them, so I can get out of the shirt and into it. And now I'm going to just decorate the front. So the next thing I'm going to do, because I'll just put this back here so you can see it a bit more, because although this is very much a man's style, I want it to have some nod to my daughter being female, and androgynous isn't women dressing up as men, it's dressing in clothes which are not overtly either male or female. So to make this neither one nor the other, if I can just put this sort of stand-in bow tie, that's roughly what it's going to look like there, with the winged collar over the top. And then I've unpicked all round here, and I've unpicked along this shoulder sleeve here, and as you can see I've taken this sleeve off. So the shape I'm going to go for, I think, is something like this, and then I'm going to cut it off here, and the same on the other side. But just to make it more complicated for myself, why not, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, as well as having a halter like that, is just put in a slight, because I've got all this extra fabric here, a small extra pleat there, just catching it, and then I've got a little bit more ribbon, and I think what I might do is just put in a little bit there, just to give it a bit more of a feature in the front here, and I'll cut that in half and do the same on the other side as well. So that's what I'm going to do now. I don't know if you can just see close up there. That's the sort of thing I'm going for, and then I'm going to fold that back like that so that it's a halter shape. So I'm going to have a go at doing that now, and then I'll sort out the length after that when we see what it looks like. And let's hope it looks lovely. I may struggle to do this, but we'll just see how it goes. This is the sort of thing that makes it really fun, because what you actually can do with this is anything that takes your fancy. You don't have to do it halter neck. What you can do is take the sleeves off, just make it sleeveless like that, or you can leave the sleeves on and do something with them. You don't need to have this ribbon down here. You can, I was just playing around with some lace earlier on, you could have, this is called a jabot, where you basically have a sort of lacy bit hanging down like that, which is very much the rage a few centuries ago. You could have something like that, you could have other ribbons coming down here, you can do anything you like, just make it really interesting and something that reflects your style. I know this isn't white lace that matches, but I thought it would show up more if I put a slightly different coloured lace on there. You could also use all sorts of different coloured ribbons as well. So really, just play around with any sort of decorations you happen to have to hand, and see what you can do. You could do appliques like we did before if you wanted to. But anyway, I'm going to see how I get on with my pleats, and then I'll come back and show you. So here we are, back. I've put the pleats in, but what I've also done is insert some pieces of ribbon just to highlight the pleats and also to make them look as if there are more pleats than there actually are. I had a piece, this is grosgrain ribbon where it has the sort of little ridges in it. I had another piece the same length, so I cut it vertically like this, and then I didn't have enough to do each pleat, so I split it into 2/3, 1/3. So I've got one piece here and another piece here, which you can see is just inserted. This actually was a bit of a mistake because grosgrain ribbon frays a huge amount, so if I was doing this again, either I would have used a different type of ribbon that doesn't fray, or I wouldn't have cut it in half. I'd have just bought some more ribbon and put the whole piece in rather than half of it. Anyway, one lives and learns. So that's that. So that's the entire pleated section at the front. I've sewn it in here, and I've also put in a little dart here and here to trace the shape of the body. Now, I was going to, which I mentioned previously, do a sort of halter neck like this, But thinking about it, it's actually going to be really difficult to get a bra to wear with it, because the collar is so high up on the neck. You probably have to go braless or with a strapless bra, which is never really a satisfactory solution, I find. So what I'm thinking now is, instead of doing it this way, which actually I quite like, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to sew this back in here so that you have a sleeveless shirt, but I'm going to use, this is the cuff, so I'm going to use this cuff here, come on this side, and I'm going to set it at an angle. If you can see, if I place it forwards like that, set it at an angle so that it comes in like this and follows the line of the bust, which gives it a really nice shape. And then at the back I'm going to put more of the cuff coming down at the back, so again it follows down. If you follow the line of the edge of the cuff, it comes down to the waist at the back, all of which serve to give you a really nice shape. If you think of the Roland Mouret dresses, this is why they've been so successful, because they very cleverly emphasise the shape of the body and flatter it in many respects as well. The other thing I'm going to do is, because this is a man's shirt, it's obviously got far too much fabric in here, so I'm going to cut out some of this here, and I'm going to pull the back in like that, so that I cut this like this, it's slightly higher under the sleeve so that you don't end up showing most of your bra. I'm going to dart it at the back here, again to give it some shape, and I'm also going to put in, I think, a little dart here that just comes out slightly like that, which mirrors the shape at the top, which I think will give it a really nice shape like that. So I'm off to do quite a bit of sewing, and I'll come back and show you how I got on. Hello, and ta-da! This is the final shirt. So what have we done? Let's summarise. We've changed the collar. We took the original off and we used the tips to make the winged collar. We've put pleats in here, narrowing the whole of the bodice, and added grove grain ribbon on here to hide the buttons, and here just for decoration. If I was doing this again, I think I said previously, can you see this grove grain ribbon? If you can see here, whoa, I'll bring it up close, is fraying really badly. So if I was doing this again, I wouldn't cut the ribbon in half. I would simply get narrower ribbon to put down there, which didn't fray, because that's going to be a problem when it comes to washing it. I have used the cuffs to make nice little cap sleeves. I've darted it here, made a new armhole, narrowed the silhouette here, but made it flick out at the bottom because I wanted to echo the flick out of the cap sleeves here, so you've got this nice curved shape. At the back, again we've mirrored the curving in here with the curving out here, and I've lowered it slightly at the back here because I just think it looks nicer. It looks more in proportion, because when you imagine your bottom here, it just, I think, creates a really nice shape, emphasising the bottom, but without making, if you had it up here, it would make it look too big. So I think that is a nice flattering shape. I've also put in these two darts here, which, when the shadows are taken into account, again add an extra feature. So that's it. If I was doing it again, I would be a little bit more careful about how I put the cuffs in, because it's not exactly right. This one has slightly more of the curve on it than that one, but I think actually that when you're wearing it, it really won't show, no one will notice it at all. But again, you get that nice curve in here, which makes you look like you've got a narrow waist with a lovely shape. And that's it. Here we have, and this is a little bit of ribbon I've just put together here by way of a pretend bow tie. I'm going to show you in the next video about how to make something a bit more exciting than this to put here. So there you have it, what to do with your old school shirts. Number 2, a truly handmade original. No one else will have a shirt like this.